Hello. Okay, I'm gonna stop the music. Hi guys. So it's Sunday and I'm going to be analyzing the game I played yesterday and over the board game as usual. Um, well, it's going to be short for two reasons. One, because the game was so straightforward, not didn't have a lot of history. Maybe the most interesting part is to see different ways to checkmate. Yeah, the game was so straightforward. It's not going to be a big analysis. And on the other hand, round two of candidate tournament is going on, and it's really interesting games. So I'm going to finish to, you know, to go back to see how they end. Penguin is playing Ultraviolet Shield Arena, by the way, right now. So a lot of interesting things going on. Anyway, let's analyze this game I played yesterday. I was playing this guy who is almost 1700 rated, and he had a bad day, I think, out of the opening. So, okay, I played e4. I played white unexpectedly because I was going to play black, but in the last minute, our board number one failed to come, so I ended up playing in number one. So I didn't prepare absolutely anything for this game, but I played a4 as usual, and my opponent went into the Sicilian defense. So since I didn't prepare anything, I played with a positional approach, the Alaping Sicilian, which I'm more or less familiar with. And now the first surprise came here actually, because the main two lines are knight f6 and d5 here. Because of course when you play Alaping, you want to play d4 as in regular Sicilian, but you want to recapture with a pawn there on d4 and have the best center you can with pawns on d4 and e4. That's the idea behind the Alaping. One drawback of the Alaping is once you put a pawn here, it's going to be hard to put a knight there anymore. So that justifies the d5 reaction, which is more or less the main line, although knight f6 is also main line. Both of them make a lot of sense because both of them play against the idea that now knight c3, sorry, is not possible. So after knight f6, I would love to defend the pawn with the knight on c3. I cannot do it. And after d5, pawn takes, queen takes, I would love to attack that queen but I cannot with the knight on c3. So those are basically the two main options for black here. Of course, you can play differently as he did. He played knight c6. You can play this way, slow. You can also play g6, and the engine would say this is playable, but yeah, it misses the point of getting the most of this concession by white. So of course I played d4, controlling the center immediately. My opponent took, which is okay, and I took back. And now he made a little bit of a mistake, I think. Still not a terrible mistake from a theoretical point of view, or at least what an engine would say. But from a practical point of view, I think it was a big mistake. He played e6 here. And of course, black is already in a little bit of a problem, because white managed to get what he wanted, perfect center here. So black should be a little bit faster and not to allow white to get, to use this space advantage. By playing e6, which he did, he allowed me to grab more space with d5. I have a challenge from someone, but yeah, I'm analyzing now, not accepting challenges. It's a casual challenge, but if it's someone in the chat who's making this challenge, please don't. Hey Floyd. So yeah, I think once he played slow with knight c6 and allowed me to get the center, at least I think he should immediately go d5 here, and at least, okay, I'm gonna have some space, but he's gonna play French style, maybe even with the bishop out, which is good version of the French. So he could do differently, but yeah, by playing e6, that's kind of iffy. So of course I grabbed space with d5, and now the game is about to be over. I mean, the game lasted like 20-something moves, 26 moves, but the huge blunder was in move number 6. So here he took. He could probably move the knight. Well, here maybe not, but he could move the knight. But he took first. Maybe he wanted this pawn to be isolated, but of course d7 is as well. And here he made a terrible blunder. And we were, both of us, playing too fast up to this point. Yeah, actually next move was made immediately. Yeah, he spent no time in all of these moves. I didn't spend time as well. So we have 1 hour and a half for the whole game, plus 30 seconds per move. And by the next move, we both have 1 hour and 31 minutes in our clocks. So we basically spend no time to get here, and he spent no time to make this terrible blunder with queen a5 check. And yeah, that's a huge mistake, because after my next move, which is kind of obvious, knight c3, now he has a lot of trouble where to put this knight. For example, if he tries to put it in the center, then I pin it, also threatening it. It's not defended, so next move is going to be f4. So that's not good. If he puts the knight here, maybe d6. Oh, that was you, Floyd. Okay, yeah, as I mentioned, I'm doing analysis today, not accepting challenges, sorry. And yeah, also after I end the analysis, I would love to see the candidates round. So I won't accept challenges today. Sorry about it. Maybe after the candidates round is over, maybe tonight. But yeah, not now. Okay, so after knight c3, he didn't find a good place for this knight, and he's not in time to play like bishop b4, because I think I can even take there, because I always have bishop here to defend this. So yeah, queen a5 was such a terrible move here, such a terrible move, and he found no better move than back to b8 here, and I didn't believe that could be the best move, but it's actually the best move. But that also suggests that it's basically game over. I think knight b4 was playable, and I think that's what I would play here, at least to try and do something. But yeah, he went knight back to b8, and now, yeah, now the game is is basically very easy. We can go through it. Yeah, not much to commentate here. It's the kind of it's typical game like Morphy versus NN. It's all one-sided, and of course I have this idea of queen e2 check here, forcing the king here, and but here I was considering also things like bishop c4, bishop g5, bishop b5 to prepare it in a stronger way. I didn't see anything clear, so I was practical and I played queen e2 check. And this forces the king to d8, because if he blocks with either piece here, he loses the piece to d6. So he went king d8, and now I just developed bishop d2. Well, with some intentions of maybe going knight b5 at some point, or knight e4, and he must develop immediately. He must play knight f6 or d6, something like that. But he was scared of this threat, so he committed another mistake here. He moved the queen out of there, queen to c5, and he had an idea in mind that I didn't see. I understood the next move. Why would he put the queen on c5? But of course, yeah, I kept developing. Knight f3 would make a lot of sense, but I wanted to go rook c1 because now the queen is here, and I'm maybe threatening some checkmate patterns with knight b5, rook takes c8, queen e8. So rook c1 makes a lot of sense, and his point of the previous move was to play here queen e7. And yeah, that's a lot of moves with the queen and the king, and nothing else. So I was a little bit concerned that I wasn't developing my own king side, but yeah. And of course he wants to trade queens, and of course I didn't allow it, so I played bishop e3. And what did he do here? He played d6 now. Yeah, at some point he must play it. And here, I think developing was just okay. I mean, I have already a good advantage, but I thought, okay, my advantage is temporarily. I mean, he cannot castle. I have more space. Those are my long-term advantages. But I also have a short-term advantage, that I'm more developed. The rook is here. Maybe the queen yeah, can get somewhere to attack. The knight is also here. The bishop is also active. So I decided it was important to push. And actually I saw knight b5 winning a pawn, because basically he has to stop knight c7. So I can win the pawn on a7. And that was what happened. He defended c7 by developing a piece, which is good. And I took the pawn. And now I'm I think black has only one move that makes sense, which is bishop d7, but he didn't play that. And why do I say that? Because I had two advantages, which were space and inability of castling for black, but now I have another one, which is a pawn. I'm a pawn up, and I'm also threatening to have another advantage, which is the bishop pair, basically, with knight takes c8. So I think he has to at least try to complicate things by putting the bishop on d7 and then trying to develop the rest. Although his position is terrible anyway, but he played knight to c5, and yeah, this was also an important move, an important point, because here I didn't make the best move, although I had the feeling which was the best move, but I decided to be practical. I decided to be practical and take the bishop, because, you know, that's just winning more advantages that are long term. But I had the feeling that queen b5 was a good move, and it was actually the best move. Queen b5, the idea is I'm defending, I'm indirectly defending the knight, so he cannot take it. And yeah, I'm also, you know, building an attack. But yeah, I was maybe a little bit lazy, or maybe practical. I like to think that I was practical, and I took the bishop because, okay, if I play queen b5, maybe he can save the bishop, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is too dangerous for him, but yeah, knight takes c8 was so practical and so obvious that is winning. And now he has to take with the rook, because otherwise the knight is pinned and he loses it. And this was the only move, I think, where I had to be accurate because first when I was calculating here, I thought after knight takes c8, rook takes c8, I had b4, but b4 would be a blunder here, and it was important because of knight e3 check. And if I take the knight, which I should, now the bishop is pinned, so the rook is not defended, and this is probably good for black, or at least not bad. So that was the only thing to avoid. So I played queen d2, which is the best move to prevent that. Defend the rook with the queen, not with a pinned bishop, and defend d3 with another piece that is not the queen. And I'm also sort of threatening queen a5 check. And I guess that was what scared him, because his next move was b6, which is a bad move. He really needs to develop. And for example, let's say he develops the knight. It's not a big deal, queen a5 check, because he always has the queen to defend, and yeah, he basically wants to trade queens, so that made more sense. Probably here I played something different than queen a5 check, but yeah, he played b6 anyway. And yeah, now more holes in here, so the next sequence was very easy to see and forced. First b4 to remove the knight, then I'm gonna trade rooks, then I'm gonna enter with the bishop and with the queen, and it's all over. And here he played knight d7 with the idea to defend this pawn, because I think he thought that after an active move I could take here with check. I'm not sure if taking with check is the best move, because then I I will have some problems. Let's say here, maybe I don't have problems now that I can. Now that I see bishop b5 check, huh? Yeah, there's no good way for him. Okay, so he was scared of this. Although engine suggests knight f6 here and give up the piece immediately, but he played knight e7, defending this, which makes some sense. So I traded rooks and played bishop e6 check, and now he has to choose a side, and he chose to go to b8, which smelled really bad. I mean, it must be lost in the other side as well, but here I was thinking to go in going here, because to prevent this, he has to move the queen out or put the king on e8, and I wanted to prevent queen f6, basically. That's why I would put the queen here. Okay. This also wins, and yeah. Anyway, he went to b8, which maybe makes things easier. And yeah, now queen c2, threatening mate. He has to defend, only move queen d8. I develop, and I have that idea. So he goes here. He wants to trade queens once again. And I could put the queen here, would be active, but here is even stronger, and that's what I did to prepare castle rook c1 and checkmate. So he developed, attacking the pawn, and I castled. And he doesn't have time to take the pawn because, and he didn't take it, but if he takes it, he has to give up a piece here to stop my attack, at least a piece. So here he decided to go bishop e7 to try to defend with the rook, and after rook c1 he went queen a7. And now it's more or less easy. This kind of Morphy style, bring all the pieces, 94, and he went 95 to defend that. And here I was going to play f4, that was my first idea, but then I thought and I said, okay, isn't knight b5 immediately winning? And yes, it is. So I played knight b5, and if he doesn't want to give up the queen, he has basically two moves, queen a8 or queen d7, and he played queen a8, so. And after bishop takes b6 he resigned, because it's I mean, bishop a7 is a strong threat, bishop c7 as well. There is checkmates coming all over the place, but it was a beautiful line, the other line with queen d7. When I played knight b5, I saw that if he plays here, which made some sense because it pins the knight, then I have the very beautiful sequence bishop c8 check. It's not check, sorry. Bishop c8, and checkmate is coming next move. If he tries to save the queen, I mean. If he goes like this, and this is checkmate. And if he takes with the king, this is checkmate. And so bishop c8 was very beautiful, but he didn't allow it. He played here, but after this, of course, lots of checkmates are coming, so that's why he resigned. That's it. As I said, not a lot of history in this game. It was a terrible opening by black. I really advise my students not to play knight c6 or g6 versus the Alapin. I mean, just learn the main lines, which are not so difficult, because if you allow white to play safe, white has a good position. And now I understand that the worst mistake came later when he allowed me to play d5, and then when he did this terrible intermediate check that makes no sense. Although here the position is already very suspicious for black. The engine finds bishop b4 check and followed by 95, but yeah, it's not easy to already play this with black. I wouldn't allow d5. I think that's the main mistake. Although the engine says the blunder is queen a5, which it is, it's already complicated to know how to play this with black. Anyway, that's it. That's it for yesterday's game. It was an easy win. Yeah, next week I'll play another game and I'll be analyzing it. Hopefully, a more interesting game. This I don't want to spend more time with it because it makes no sense. So, okay, now I'm going to watch the rest of the round in the candidates, and maybe after that I'll stream some games, tournaments, or something. Thank you for being there, and sorry for the short stream. It's what it is.